Hello, today I'm in a place called Bakałarzewo, which is in northeastern Poland. Today it's located not so far from the Russian and the Lithuanian borders. The Jewish cemetery of this town is here, a town which had at the beginning of the 19th century something like 80% of the population being Jewish. As I come in here, a couple of things I notice. There's a sign up here, it's an old sign at that, and it says that this is a zone of quiet and there's certain things you're not allowed to actually do, including make those noises which you can see on the sign. Another thing, it's got a toilet. Maybe the toilet isn't for the Jewish cemetery, but there is one here. I think it's actually for the people who are using the beach at the bottom of this trail. Now, to understand Bakałarzewo, we need to have a quick look at the geography, and that we're going to do by pointing the camera in the appropriate direction. Now, as you can see, there's a car here, but beyond that car we have got a lake. So we've got that this is a lake in the river Rozpuda, and we can see what is here. A very nice trail was made, I think it was in 2014, with information about people who once lived here, including the Jewish population and the wildlife and other things. But you've got the tree line on the other side, and somewhere halfway through that tree line was the German border, or the East Prussian border as it was earlier. So you see over there, you've got the area there without any trees. So that was East Prussia. Indeed, there are fortifications. Can't see them from here. I possibly could actually see them in winter. You can't see them now, but there are fortifications built before the Second World War along there. Indeed, there is a line up there. So to understand that, to start off with, now let's come back up here. And what I'm going to do now is I want to show you where the Jewish cemetery is. So we've got here people living bang on the border, and the border was in this position during the time when Poland was divided between Russia, Prussia, later Germany, and Austria. So this was a border village, and border villages are usually quite wealthy, comparatively speaking, because of the trade between the two and taking advantage of the different pricing levels. I don't know if that is a grave marker. I came in here yesterday. There's around 20 gravestones in here from the 19th and 20th century. And whereas it isn't fenced off or anything like that, I think it's in very good condition. The stones there, they are readable, and so considering the amount of time they've been here, I think that is quite positive. So others have actually fallen down. So people here, they dealt with businesses large, like the Jewish people did everywhere. So the Jews were the ones which were in business, either in trade or manufacturing. They were the small business owners. Very few were in agriculture, which was the predominant occupation of the non-Jewish population. Now, during the course of the 19th century, the amount of Jews here actually fell, and sorry, it's a percentage of the overall population. Obviously, there's massive growth in population everywhere in the 19th century, but the number of Jews actually fell, and I think the answer to there's two very good reasons for that. I think the number one reason is what was over here. There was Germany, and there was beyond that we had places such as Hamburg and Bremen, and that was the route to the New World, to America. I've done a video on a place where called the Wovo Osada. That was a place where I believe that probably there's be very few Jewish people in the United States who didn't have an ancestor who passed through that border point. So from here, people left, not that, but they also went to the larger cities as well, such as Suwałki, such as Warsaw, Białystok, for example. One thing, note looking at some of the population statistics from the 19th century is that of the houses which were here, it would seem to me as though the Jewish houses were more crowded than the Catholic ones. So the Catholics had a larger percentage of the real estate here than the Jews did. By the time Poland became independent, the Jews were in a minority here, and so there's a number of reasons for that. I mean, other than the immigration. Another thing which happened as well needs to be borne in mind was the amount of disease and hunger caused by the wars, and I'm not suggesting, obviously disease and hunger affects both Catholics and Jews, but if you have access to food in times of trouble, then it's easier to stay alive, and the Jews were not in food production as a general rule. I keep meaning to do something on the diseases that occurred as a result of the First World War. Everybody knows about the Spanish flu, but there were other things as well which happened. So you can see the cemetery itself is quite small. Now it's very, very close to the border, as you can see from where I pointed the camera earlier. And what happened to the Jewish population was that the danger was pretty real by the summer of 1939. Here there was even a rather large anti-German pro-Polish patriotic demonstration in June of 1939, perfectly visible to those on the other side of the border. Now, many Jews started to leave. It hadn't already done so. We see, for example, I think it was the mill. I saw an account of being sold to non-Jewish people and the owners going off to Suwałki. Now, when the war started, it was quiet here. This wasn't one of the places where the Germans attacked, but there was a village to the south of here called Reuss, and now called Chimochi, I think it is, Chimochi. And there was a raid. There was a number of small raids by largely Polish cavalry on places in East Prussia, and so the Polish cavalry went in. According to reports which I read in the Nazi press, is that they used hand grenades to destroy buildings and the likes, and so they did quite a lot of damage. And then there was an attack here, a raid, and fighting here occurred. It was 3rd and 4th of September. So this place here, despite the fact the border was just over there, wasn't captured until the 4th of September 1939. On the 8th of September, the town was to a large extent destroyed for no reason whatsoever, other than that it had been it was the border village. It was revenge for the attack on Royce. It's been portrayed that way. As for the Jewish population, how they were eventually exterminated, I can't say. This cemetery has been closed since 1964. The order to close it was given then. And I think what happened was that the people here were probably deported to somewhere like, for example, Suwałki, and from there we know the place. Indeed, I've shown you the videos of places such as Międzyrzec, Podlaski, Łuków, which is both in the Lublin region, and from there, if they survived the ghettos, then they were taken to the death camp at Treblinka. Although people who found themselves having to flee, for example, or deported from here to one place and then from that place to another place, they were usually destitute, and so many of them died of starvation or starvation-related diseases before they even were deported. It is a really important thing about the Holocaust is this: it's often overlooked, is that the amount of people who died through poverty, inflicted poverty, that the Nazis inflicted on them by forcing them to leave one place to go to another place, not allowing them to take anything with them, or if they could, next to nothing with them, stealing things en route, which was really common. So you can see the lake here. The bird you could hear earlier is a reed warbler. That's not a reed warbler. That's something else. And I think this is really attractive place to be. And as far as the cemetery is concerned, I was thinking yesterday, it must be one of the most attractive locations that I know of for the cemetery. You've got the cemetery up there, and you've got this wonderful view down to the lake, and okay, then you've got the border over beyond there. Now here on this sign we have something which tells us of the Jews who lived in Bakałarzewo, sorry, and it's written with an A because that's a genitive case after the word Z, which means from in this case, and it says here now only a few stone headstones are still here, but we have there a history of the people who actually lived here. But it does mention this. So here, in 1893, the number of Jews living in Bakałarzewo, the number of inhabitants of Bakałarzewo actually fell, and of it 1,161 inhabitants, 624 were Jews, mainly caused by emigration. And I might even say, just to demonstrate the point that I made earlier about the amount of people who were Jewish, I'm just at the beginning. Okay. So in 1800, 620 people in 76 houses, 285 Jews, 46% of the population, but that grew to being up 80% of the population. One thing that happened because of the, I mentioned the border, really, really important, is that there was a lot of smuggling going on as well. So now I don't know what was cheaper, but I can imagine that buying things which are from industrially made, maybe machinery, farm machinery, something like that, would be cheaper in East Prussia, and things like agricultural products being cheaper here in the Russian occupied area of Poland. That's what I imagine. I don't know. That's just that's how it works these days, as a general rule. And here we have a sign to the original inhabitants of this area before the Crusaders came along and sort of got rid of them. I've forgotten the name for Yatsvingovia in English, but it's not. I've forgotten the name, but whatever it is. The tribe that lived here. And this trip, so I was in two regions really. So I went to Lublin area, and so I was filming places there about the ghettos. I did films related to Police Battalion 101 from Hamburg, and the last month I've been in former East Prussia, so there'll be a number of videos related to former East Prussia on this channel as well. Yesterday, this is a place, they've got some motorhomes there. I tried to park down there on that side, and but it was full. I mean, it was a hot day, 26 degrees. Everybody wants to be next to the lake, and I turn up in the afternoon. That's to be understood. Yesterday I was at the home, for the ancestral home of the youngest general in the Wehrmacht, and so I was filming things for that. So I'll get that done whenever I can. Indeed, somebody even filmed me talking about him, which is normally me filming other people, not that way around. And I'll show you this sign as well. This is the beauty of Bakałarzewo and its surroundings. And so you see, you've got these tunnels here from the Second World War, the bunkers, and this is something I feel I've got to see. There we go. Then another one, and then another one here. This I can see the work's been put in here, above all probably in the last 10 years or so, maybe not 15 years. It's a very attractive place, and it's a very attractive place to visit. I'm very impressed by it. Anyway, I shall leave you there. That's one of the longest cemetery visits I've done on what is really a very small cemetery. But for the moment, from me in Bakałarzewo, northeastern Poland. Thanks so much for watching, and bye for now. I upload every day now. I'm uploading every day at 2000 hours. So if you want to know what I'm uploading, then you can subscribe. Normally, most days it's only a short film up to 3 minutes, right? But on the Friday you get a longer documentary style video. So that length of this one. Thanks for watching.